Finally, the moment a couple of you have been waiting for.
It's all like bing bong, Jack.
Coming to you from an undisclosed location in Duval and St. Johns County. The show for Jag fans by Jag fans.
You can't have a newcomer come in and steal the show.
Here are your hosts, Franklin and Michael how you say it? DeZoba. Welcome to the Jaggernaut Podcast.
All right, here we are again. We're gonna give you another long-awaited episode. I know many of you have been chomping at the bit.
All 7 of you. Woo!
For another exciting episode of the Jaggernaut Podcast with your hosts, the DeZoba brothers, Frank, that's me, and my bro, Michael.
Well, something like that. I think it's something like, I don't know if I could finish it yet. I'm still not happy.
Well, let's take care of business. I just want to tell everybody that they should be tuning into this show because we are the most informative Jaguar show there is. Is that true? It's true for me. And
so therefore it makes it right? Because it can't be disputed.
That's right. It's 2022, your truth, my truth. Well, here's what I will say. It does not cost you a thing to subscribe and click like. You don't have to like it, but at least subscribe. And we're not going to spam you with a bunch of shows about stuff when we don't have anything to talk about. So there's that.
Well, that's true. And actually, we only really talk about what we believe is pertinent information to the football team. And we don't pitch products. If you ever hear us talk about a restaurant, it's either because
we're pitching a product.
Yeah, it's either because it's good and we've been there, or it's horrible and we've been there, or we have a product that we can't believe was this good and worked the way it was, and for some reason we went off on a tangent and just threw it out there. But anyway, that's us. So I think tonight we, Frank, are going to talk about free agency. Boom, boom, right? The new league year actually started 3 hours and 9 minutes ago. That's when teams were legally allowed to actually sign players. They could tamper 3 days before that. So Monday and Tuesday, you can tamper with them, but you couldn't sign them.
I love how they called it legal tampering, which implies there's another sort.
Yeah. Oh, there's another sort. All right.
It's like instantly somebody signed. It's like, whoa, that was some super quick tampering.
Yeah. You know what it was is that the NFL couldn't stop it. They knew they couldn't stop it. So then they gave these teams this 48-hour window. And what's funny is teams are still tampering and they still can't stop it. They literally, it needs to be like two days after the Super Bowl. Like, here's your tampering window all the way up to the start of the league year.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to kind of get some inside scoop from somebody to find out how it really goes down. I don't know if they want to say, though. My guess is that the agents sort of act as a bag man to a certain extent. Maybe I don't know how that works. Because if you think about it, you have the football teams that have their current players are repped by agents that are repping free agents. So you could technically say you're just talking to the agent about your current football player's contract that you have. But yeah, by the way, don't you rep,
Yeah, see, and so those conversations you won't find in text and you won't find in email. Those happen at the combine. Those happen at different other functions, so that there could be no legal trace that you were actually up to no good. So that's why I say, if that's the way it's going to be, just start 2 days after the Super Bowl and say, here you go. You can start talking. You can start inquiring, what does this guy want? What's he looking for? You can do that whenever you feel you're ready, and maybe this guy might fit your team needs.
Yeah, it appears the Jaguars have been up to some no good, because
that's right. Ooh.
There's quite the haul of free agent guys to delve into and talk about. How do you want to handle this? You want to go just run down the list? You want to throw highlights that you like? What are you thinking?
I'm thinking we start with the guy we paid the most, and we'll work our way down from there.
Man, I don't know who they. You talking about Kirk? Is that the guy we paid?
Captain Kirk. That's exactly who I'm talking about.
I have a list here, but I don't know how exactly what they paid them. Kirk, what's your take?
So the deal is 4 years and a maximum of $84 million. And when people read that, they freak out and they say, "Oh my God, this guy's making $22 million a year." Okay, well, he's not. He's actually really only making 18.5 over 2 years, because that's all the money we've guaranteed. That's it. So it's 2 years, $36 million. That's what we have guaranteed. Now, with that being said, yes, I do agree that is overpayment for Kirk. I liked Kirk coming into free agency, but as we have said before, I'm not sure I would have put him that much higher than say Chark. Maybe somewhere around 11 or 12 million is what I was thinking, not 18.5 million.
Yeah, I kind of, it's interesting how the whole Kirk thing happened, because at least in regards to the reaction. Do I dislike Kirk as a player? Absolutely not. I think he's a fine player, or appears to be. I heard Sean Jefferson at the Arizona Cardinals wide receiver coach talk glowingly about him, and he's everything you want, except for he's not tall and he's not super fast. I mean, I guess he's sort of fast, but not really fast. He's more like a quick, try hard, 50-50 ball kind of guy. So we're looking at a slot guy, nothing else, which is another sort of red flag. But in regards to the reaction, obviously the agent throws out the big contract, total dollar value. It makes them look like they're doing a really good job. And then everybody comes back and goes, "Hey, you guys hold on. That's not that big." And it's what you talked about. It's, we only guaranteed 36 million. So it's like, okay, so we guaranteed this guy, a ton of money for it. So that if you say you're going to get 2 years, right, you're going to get them for 2 years at least.
Correct.
So that's a little bit, to me, questionable, because you're talking about, what is that, like 18.5 a year? And if you take his 4 years, I don't care what you choose any 2 years you want. The best 2 years whatever you can find. And you could probably even mix and match the stats, the touchdowns, the yards per year, the yards per catch. He ain't worth that. Now, will he be here? I don't know. The problem I have is that free agency isn't about projecting. That's the draft. So you're having to project this guy to be better than he has been in the league. And I don't know, maybe, Trevor Lawrence will make him better. And the fact that he did have other receivers there that needed to get the ball. But I mean, we want to improve our wide receiver core here. So I want other receivers that we feel like we need to get the ball to as well. And so the amount of money we spent was just way too much. And in fact, everybody's saying that. So it's not just a jaded Jaguar reaction. I mean, people are saying that the contract is so out of whack that we threw the negotiating process off for a bunch of other players.
And that's hilarious. That's fucking funny, man.
It is, but it makes it seem like we don't know what we're doing. Like,
I
don't get why this.
We're the Jaguars, man. What about this?
I forgot.
Okay,
Sorry.
what about this? does not scream Jacksonville.
I guess. I mean, it's just always one thing or another, I suppose. I mean, either they don't do anything, and then when they do, they're going to do it in this awkwardly weird way. It can never be a perfect value. So everybody who's just happy we're doing something, that's all they're saying. It's like, but we're doing stuff and it's not your money. And it's like, yes, but what about the value? You know, that's like saying when you go into a draft, but we drafted the people. We got players. We had 10, 9, 8 draft picks, and we came out with 10 or 9, 8. That's like, no, but who did we draft? You're forgetting it's about value. You know, I would rather have had 2 receivers for the price of Kirk, which I hope he proves us wrong. But
first of all, I will say this. I say you always overpay in free agency, regardless, and it doesn't matter the position.
This is wildly overpaying.
Right. Hold on. Look, I'm not disagreeing with that fact. We Jacksonville did. That's what we Duval'd it, because that's what we do. Okay. You're going to overpay. And you're also going to have to pay more because we're a shit team. So we got to pay the crap team tax, right? So if you say Kirk is worth about the same as Chark, maybe a little more. Chark got 10 million from Detroit. So we'll say Kirk's 11. Okay.
Yeah.
How much is a bad team tax? An extra million?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's 12
especially
million.
In a state where you don't pay tax.
So basically we overpaid him by $6 million is what you're saying. And then with that $6 million, you think we could have found a comparable good second receiver? Because I agree with you. I agree with you. We overpaid him because 18.5 million is for number 1. That's what you pay a number 1 receiver. Christian Kirk can play on the outside. He can play in the slot, but he's predominantly a slot player. Slot players are never your number 1 receiver. In fact, I can't think of a team, even Julian Edelman, who's the other guy? Danny Amendola, right? They were your go-to guys when you need a first down, but I don't think they were your number 1s.
Right.
So maybe I'm wrong.
What's interesting, and this gets into this concept of projecting again. Best case scenario is you're trying to get a poor man's Cooper Kupp, because he reminds me of a slot receiver, but and he plays from the slot sometimes, but that guy plays all over the place. So maybe they're thinking that, and if that's the case, then fine, but he better play, I don't know, 60% of what Cooper Kupp is.
I think he makes more than Cooper Kupp. So that means it's got to be 85 to 90.
Could you imagine what Cooper Kupp's thinking now? How much money is that guy going to make?
Oh, I can see what every receiver is saying. People are wondering why Allen Robinson hasn't been. Why? You know why? Because he's like, I want 30. I want 30 million, right? And then you got Devontae Adams, right? Who's getting 20 million guaranteed for the franchise tag for Green Bay.
Yeah.
He just saw this and he said, no, I want 50. I want Aaron Rodgers money.
Well, did his franchise tag go up? Because now Kirk.
No, because it's based off of last year. It's like the average of the top 5 from last year. So this year doesn't count. But he's looking at it saying, why am I going to make this much when this clown over here is going to make this much?
It's a past few weird years in reality, generally speaking. The thing that I also have taken notice of is that the cornerback market is the opposite. So it's kind of a weird deal, right? Because you got NFL tripping over themselves. The Jags aren't the only people doing this, throwing money at wide receivers, but then the guys that cover the wide receivers to keep these guys from doing whatever plans the other offensive guys have and have paid them money to execute, those guys aren't getting paid, and case in point, I mean, you talked about
Well, Casey Jackson got paid, right? Or CJ Jackson, or
did he? I mean, he didn't get paid. Like, he was
wait,
clearly,
wait. He didn't get paid Kirk money, right? Okay, he didn't get paid like
and
that.
he was the number
you have-
one
Yeah,
corner by far.
Yeah. So you have Aaron Rodgers, you have Kirk, you have Aaron Rodgers money, you have Christian Kirk money, and then you got the rest
I
of
don't
the
know if it's that
NFL.
bad.
That's what you got.
You got to
got
take
the rest of the
quarterbacks
NFL.
out of it, though. I think.
Well, truth be told, though, there aren't that many solid like number one corners. There are good corners who play in a system, but you move them out of that system and they can't play that good.
Yeah, and I agree with that. But here's the thing: they're paying them as such. So the reality, it matches their pay. Why doesn't it do that with the wide receivers? What am I not understanding about wide receivers that makes this position such a grand position? And I don't understand the chart thing either. If we want to touch on that. I know that there was talk that he doesn't like contact and this sort of stuff. This is a guy that's faster than Kirk. He's had 1,000-yard season. Kirk never did.
That does not concern me that much.
What's that?
That does not concern me that much.
The 1,000-yard season?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
I understand
for a slot receiver, no, but
I understand your projection thing, and you're right. I don't think most of the time you do project, and even if you do, I think for Kirk, you only project slightly more than the best year he's shown you. But I still think Kirk can get a little bit better, because do you start him over DeAndre Hopkins? No. Do you start him over Larry Fitzgerald?
No.
Do you start him over AJ Green?
No.
Okay, so the guy,
do you pay him more?
If you're Jacksonville,
that's the problem. I don't know, man.
Look, I agree. I wouldn't have paid him that much. I think he's overpaid. I did, but I think he's overpaid, and I'll agree. I think he's overpaid by about $5 to $6 million a year.
Okay, here's a comparable thing. I'm not stopping your. Did you want to continue that thought?
No, go ahead. It's the same
okay.
one.
So comparatively speaking, I just looked this up. So because this was the guy I was thinking about, Russell Gage. He's in the same ballpark in my mind as far as going into free agency. He's in that general area of wide receiver depth or availability. He got 30 million, and I don't know if this is so his average, it's a 3-year contract. It looks like the total's 30. I can't see where it says the guaranteed or that sort of thing. A total guaranteed 20 million. So we guaranteed Kirk 37 million.
Yeah, 36, 37 million.
Tampa, who has Tom Brady. Now, okay, maybe that gives you a discount. Okay, fine. I kind of talked myself out of that one. But $30 million for 3 years. That's $10 million a year. That's what we thought going into this thing was received, not 18 million a year. That's stupid. So is Kirk better than Russell Gage? And if so, how much?
I would think so. But probably not by it. What are we, 8 million, 8.5 million? No.
And Mike McCoy, who is, what is he? I don't even know what position he is on our team, coach. But he better, I tell you what, man, if that guy came in here singing the praises of Christian Kirk, man, he must have done a heck of a sell job, because that guy got paid, man. And that's the only connection that I'm aware of on our team.
Did you happen to see the interview today with Peterson and
No,
Bulky?
I saw a clip.
Dude. So it was with the normal company men. So they weren't really asking them anything, and they weren't really talking about their responses.
Yeah.
So both of them basically said that They got the 7 guys they targeted. And they got them in the pay range that they were expecting. Just marinate on that. So bulky. So both
Bulky
of
there?
them, yeah. So both of them came in, and now Peterson said we got the 7 guys that we targeted. Bulky said we got the 7 guys we targeted in the range we thought. So in the range we thought was attributed to Bulky. Peterson didn't say anything about the money side.
Okay.
So they went in prepared to overpay this guy. It's what they want. You know what? It's not our money. Nobody likes Trent Bulky. So this was a Bulky move.
It reminds me when we drafted Tyson Alualu and they had to come back and go, oh, everybody wanted this guy. All you common folk didn't realize that all us insider folks really, I mean, if we didn't draft him, the Dolphins, I mean, so many teams we had to get this guy.
Right.
And it's not to say that Alualu was a bad player.
Bad, right. He's just not a number one pick.
Wasn't value. Mm-hmm. And this is where we're at again, I think. And here's the deal too.
Frank,
maybe Bulky.
Let's move to the next guy.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? Go ahead.
Just wanted to say this. The good thing about that is Bulky put himself out there. So give him that. He said, this guy's worth that. Let's find out.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same old attitude. If you give a guy enough rope, he'll hang himself. The problem is this is Shad Khan's stooge. So he may have to hang himself 2 or 3 times before he actually gets fired. We should touch on the fact that last time we had this, we did one of these shows was after the press conference in which they said that they were going to get us an executive vice president. And then they never did. After that. And Shad Khan, by the way, said that the way that the front office was structured was not correct. And they were going to change that by getting an EVP. And I guess Shad Khan has decided that it is correct. And so there we go. Yeah. So I don't understand the Zay Jones pick either. I'm not as upset about that one because I think the pay range isn't quite as bad. I understand why he would be attractive because of his physical attributes. So he's kind of similar to me. He's $8 million a year.
Yeah, see, that's great. I mean, not great, but it's okay. I don't have a problem with that. You take flyers like that in free agency, give somebody a shot somewhere else and think you can do something with it. I kind of understand that.
Now I'm okay. I'm okay giving him the shot. My problem is that he's got worse stats than Kirk. He looks worse than Kirk.
Yeah, he is.
He seems to have a problem with dropsies. Half our team seems to have a problem with dropsies.
We've got that position covered, guys.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
Just watching Zay Jones's highlights, he drops the ball and he's a pussy. Like he won't attack the ball. He won't go get the ball.
So we got Chark with the drops.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, for the record, I never noticed that about Chark. That's what people have been saying. So
I didn't have a problem with Chark.
Yeah. Well, he had a problem. He didn't want to stay here. That's the word. I know. I wish he didn't feel that way, but it's completely understandable that you would.
Yeah.
Completely understandable. But on that point, Darius Williams did want to come here or does want to be here. And so I kind of like that. The fact that he even wants to be here is cool. And he's a hometown guy. And I guess that's why he wanted to come here. So we need another corner. So I like that pickup.
I'm okay with it. Let's see what he's got. I mean, at worst,
his last year wasn't that great, but the year before was pretty good. So
but we'll see what he's got. Plus he's a hometown boy. $6 million a year. You're going to overpay. You got to pay the team suckage tax. So
it makes me wonder too, because he's a corner for the Rams. And it makes me wonder how, what kind of bug Jalen put in his ear. Was he trying to talk him out of coming here or what have you? I'd be interested in that.
Look, Jalen might have been the damn reason for his departure.
Yeah, that's a possibility too.
We all know these diva chicks, they can get on their little rants and they could kill the locker room.
Yeah.
Who
do you here's what I will say before we dive into anything else. I like the free agent class other than the wide receivers that we went with. So we've talked about those. What are your thoughts? So
let me say this. I like the free agent class, including the receivers. I just think we overpaid. So Zane Jones, I think he would be fine for slightly less than Gabriel Davis. Right? I think that was who you brought up. Is that who you brought? No, who was the guy you brought
Russell
up?
Gage.
Russell Gage. So probably slightly less than Russell Gage. I would have thought that was good. Christian Kirk, somewhere around 11 or 12 million a year. I would have been happy with that. Even if it was fully guaranteed for the 4 years, I'd have been okay with that. So I'm okay with it. If we would have got them at a cheaper price, I'd be fine. It's the money that we spent. That's it. Yeah. I just think those two guys, we overpaid, and we overpaid grossly. So look, Shad Khan, put this in front of Balky. Put this up there. Balky, positive or negative, however it works out. But just make sure this gets charged to the right person. All right. What were you going to ask now?
Well, the rest of the crew, like you said, you like the free agent group. So let's move on from the wide receivers and touch on
Evan Ingram.
Yeah.
Right. Evan Ingram is still young. Yep. He's hurt all the time. But when that dude was not hurt, dude can ball.
He's got talent. Yeah.
He does have talent. So I look forward. Yep. I look forward to seeing him. Now, whether that material, he also sometimes has the dropsies. He also gets hurt. But
do we have a jugs machine at the facility?
I don't think so.
Maybe you ought to buy one. I'm not sure how that works. That was one thing that I found, and I hate to go back to the wide receivers, but
that old Stickum they used to have, the nasty pine tar looking shit.
Yeah.
That's what we should do. We should go out and we should get pine tar from pine trees and put it in 5-gallon buckets and go sit it out front of the Jaguars facility and be like, can you please use this?
That was a frustrating thing when they first signed Kirk. They kept kept hearing people justify it by saying he could catch the ball. I mean, isn't that like the base thing that a wide receiver does? I mean,
for most teams,
imagine just doing your basic job and getting a gigantic raise because the rest of the employees are used to sucking.
Yeah, for most teams, you're right. That's your baseline, catching the ball. We're not your teams. Yeah. We're the Jacksonville Jaguars where we don't catch.
Well, so the free agent class started out with Brandon Scherf. I like that pick a lot. I like the fact that he's not super old. I think he's a need. I wouldn't say value, but it's the type of thing that you talk about in free agency. You're going to overpay, but it was a position of need. He has to be better than Andrew Norwell.
And he was supposedly the cream of the crop.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
The problem is,
got him.
What Norwell?
I know, but you can't judge everything like that. So I'm just hoping. So let's see what we do. Let's see what he does. That's all. All you can do is say,
here's what I'd say.
Position of need.
He was tagged twice by Washington. Like Washington basically tagged his ass twice instead of giving this guy money, which I don't really understand. Maybe they just don't want to pay a guard that much, but they would have had to know they were going to lose him at one point or another. I actually like it. I'm okay with it. I think I would have did it. He was one of the guys that I looked at before free agency, and I'm like, man, we could really use that dude. So I'm glad we got him. I think it helps.
Foye Olukun. So
I don't know anything about this guy except for he was a tackling machine.
yeah, and he's
Now-
now Miles Jack's replacement. So
Yeah, now
they-
this exactly is what made Miles Jack replaceable. Now, here's the question. As we talked about, I think that only makes sense if you're moving back to a 4-3.
Yep, that's exactly the way I'm seeing it too.
Yeah,
4-3.
because if you're going to keep two middle linebackers like you would in a 3-4,
Yeah.
wouldn't you keep Miles Jack?
Yeah, in fact, I don't even know that Olakun is going to play middle linebacker. I'm not even sure where. I don't even know what the Falcons ran, to be honest with you. I don't remember seeing their defense formations typically.
I believe he was a middle linebacker.
Was he?
Yeah.
And I mean,
So,
Miles
now-
was our middle linebacker, so maybe that's the thinking.
Technically, I guess if you wanted to, you could
Yeah,
run
that's-
him. You could run him and Quarterman as our two inside linebackers. And then you
Right.
have our two outside linebackers. But I don't know that they're going to stay that way, especially with the other guy we haven't even mentioned yet. So, but then at this point, what does that do for like Roy Robinson Harris? He's a big end in a 3-4. You know, so now we got guys who are specific to a 3-4 who basically won't have a role or won't be as good in their role because we're going back to a 4-3.
I'm not so worried about Robinson Harris. He kind of body type. He kind of looks like he could play 4-3 inside.
And no,
You don't think so?
I think he's
how is
too
he that much
small.
different than Marcus Stroud?
I think he's too small.
Really?
Yeah,
Huh. I have to look up his size. He looks
That's
like a
what
big
I
dude
think.
to me.
he looks big, but you got to move around those 330-pound dudes. You know, I mean, I think it's different.
Yeah, and I will say this, and I don't know how big the guy we ended up getting for the defensive tackle, Foley Fatukasi, is. That guy there, but you know, if we're guessing correctly, and Olakun, if we're saying his name right, is going to play middle linebacker. That's a tiny guy. He's not exactly big, and he's going to need some big guys up front to, you know, make sure that he stays clean.
Yeah, I'm interested to see that. The other guy, I can't even pronounce his name. Foley. I'll say Axel Foley. Right. You know, the defensive tackle. A lot of people seem to like him. In fact, a lot of people seem to like the linebacker too. They're very high motor guys. They play very well. So I'm interested to see them. I don't have any issues with them trying to get those dudes. I think overall we have a better defense. I think we're going to have a better offense. Did we get the biggest bang for the buck? No. But I think we're going to be better on both sides of the ball. How much better? For all I know, it could just be a game. You know? But
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think it just comes down to coaching at this point in quarterback. So we'll see. I mean, if well, that leads us to, I think we covered the free agents. That's pretty much the guys that they brought in. I don't think we missed anybody. They re-signed Cam Robinson. Well,
No, they
re-signed tagged him.
yep.
Um,
Franchise tag.
right. And so that leads to the draft. You know, is it Aiden Hutchinson? Is that what we're doing? It kind of appears that way because we kind of thought, well, maybe they'd go out and get Chandler Jones, somebody like that. They didn't touch in, so they re-signed Cam and did not touch in. So that leads me to think
Maybe. I mean,
Aiden-
honestly, I am hoping somebody falls in love with a quarterback and there starts to be some kind of a controversy and they give us like you don't have to mortgage your future to move up to 1, but you have to give us some nice picks to make it worth it to me. Like I'll take a discount. I really will. I'll take a discount to move back from 1. Yeah. But I really do hope we're able to move from one, because I'm not a big Hutchinson guy. And I think it gets even worse if you're going to change to a 4-3. I mean, it suits him better. A 4-3 does, I believe. But it doesn't suit, I don't think, Robinson that well. So.
Robinson.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Josh Allen.
Oh, Josh Allen.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
have
Honestly,
you
take the
seen
Buffalo
clips?
game out. He wasn't that great that last year. So I'm not making anything.
Well,
I'm not making any prognostication on Josh Allen, because it's, I don't know. I mean, he looks like a defense. He looks like a 4-3 end to me. So I don't know why it would be a problem either way. And if you did bring in Hutchinson, that gives you bookend guys who should be able to get at the quarterback. So I don't know. I mean, I think that certainly the way the league has gone is you've got these certain type of player that are defensive end technicians that come into the league and they don't disappoint. So I don't know why Hutchinson would be any different other than the fact that we draft him. And
we seem to mess everything up and mess up every body. So
yeah, but again, you gotta play the cards,
yep.
man. You gotta play the cards dealt to you.
At this point, I'd be okay with whoever they took. If they went offensive line, I'm okay with defensive end. I do think, however, in this draft, we need to go in with a focus still on receiver and still on offensive line.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
We need centers, we need guards, we need tackles. Yes, the further along you move in the draft, the more time you can have to build them up to quality players to get them to either be a good backup or potentially a starter. But I still think we have to keep grabbing them.
Especially because I do expect them to release Brandon Linder, because the word on the street was they were going after Darius Williams, and the word on the street, and by the street, I basically mean social media, was that they're going to get rid of Linder. And I've been calling for that. Like, this guy, this is the last year of his contract, I believe. It's too much money for that guy. He does not stay healthy. If he wants to sign again,
Sheriff is the same. Sheriff is the same way, man. He does not stay healthy. Same thing with Evan Ingram, right? But you're okay giving them $10 million. Okay, and I like Linder. I think Linder is one of the better centers in the NFL when he's healthy. But you're 100% right. He's never healthy. So what do? I don't know.
I don't pay him what he's not worth. I mean, the best ability is availability, right. This sort of thing. It has to play into the contract scenario. You can't.
Honestly, I think you keep him.
I mean, maybe that's why they haven't released him.
Got? Yep.
But here's the thing. No, you got Shatley. That's who you got.
Yes, but he is your only other center. So you have two centers.
But you're already talking about going in. And first of all, free agency isn't over. This is the second part of free agency where you go and you get the guys that there's tons of guys still out there that don't have homes right now that you can go just the camp body type, not camp body. That's wrong. The back of the roster type guys, that you want to come in for. Well, the one thing I know that here's what we did. We re-signed Will Richardson. I saw that. And he's that type of guy where basically you throw him in there.
He's your backup guard. Yeah, he's your backup guard.
So, I mean, at least you have that. You need a backup center if you get rid of Linder, but you need that anyway, because Linder will get hurt. Shatley will be your starter, and you'll still be like, well, where's our backup center? So let's just get to that now.
Well, but maybe you can cut him after the draft, after you've drafted a potential backup rookie center. I'm not opposed to it, but that would not be my first choice. I would like to have a center being groomed for a year, very similar to how we did Walker Little.
Yeah,
So Cam's not coming back next year. It'll be Walker Little or somebody else.
unless
Now,
they plan on trying to rework. I mean, if they love the guy so much that they're going to sign him, they're going to keep going through this.
and because he's only ranked the 13th best left tackle out of
You can pay him like the
32,
second best tackle in the league.
he's going to ask to be paid like he's the second best. And that's very much the Jaguar thing to do.
You know what? That's a great point. I never even thought about that. I only thought about it globally in the or league wide in the wide receiver market. But what did we do to ourselves when it comes to negotiating all of our contracts going forward? That's another thing I don't like, man. We end up getting rid of our own guys, going off and finding these the grass is greener over there. And it's like, man, how many times has it actually been greener? Like, who have we signed free agent wise that's been good? I can think of Paul Posluszny. I can't think of anybody else really right off the top.
We're in this position because we can't fucking draft. Outside of Trevor Lawrence and maybe this last draft, which looks like it may have been good, we have screwed Dave Caldwell, literally.
Yeah, that guy sucked.
He did nothing for this franchise. No jars on the shelves, no starters, no nothing. So that's why we're in this position. Another thing that comes along with not being able to draft well is losing. Now you have to pay the my team sucks tax. So there you go. That's why. Because we can't draft and we suck. So we have to overpay. Did we get them right? Only time will tell. I don't know. I definitely agree. With the receivers, we overpaid. I think we probably overpaid a little bit for everybody. So yeah, I would not be shocked. I would not be shocked if Cam Robinson is announced tomorrow as the highest paid left tackle in the NFL, and he's probably making Aaron Rodgers money, because that seems to be what the Jaguars do. That is the Duval way.
Well, I mean, let's be fair. I don't think that's normally their MO. Other than Bortles, Of course, let's just say this: bad decisions are what we do.
That's our norm. Yeah, that is the Duval way. So,
and that's the thing when it comes to this sort of stuff. When people are like, you're going to complain no matter what they do, and it's like, yeah, because, well, first of all, that's not true. If they did things that
made sense.
As an example, this free agent class is not a bad job. It's just the Christian Kirk. If you took that contract and made it reasonable, it would be completely fine. And there would be nothing to complain about.
I'm going to complain about that Zane contract as well.
I'm not worried about that one too much. So that just goes to show you that's
I don't like the Kirk one either,
realm.
But I think they both suck. I think we overpaid way too much on both of those guys. That's me.
Yeah.
So,
and I think that we're probably looking at needing wide receiver. I mean, we knew that going in. We were going to draft at least one wide receiver.
Dude, I'm telling you, that guy out of Utah.
Yeah.
I sent you guys his link. He's got wheels. He's a good route runner. And guess what? He catches the ball. Did you hear that? Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah. That's what he does. He catches it.
And that will earn him a lot of money on this team.
Yeah, which is probably why we won't draft him.
Yeah. Well, I think we'll probably end up getting Hutchinson. We'll probably come back and pick up
some kind of a receiver. Yep.
And then after that, we'll get another receiver at some point because we need another one, it appears. Anyway, who knows what's going to happen? So it's at least you get a little some form of entertainment, even if it's sort of like what are those things? A tragedy, I forget what those called, those classic tragic things that they used to do. I don't know.
I don't know.
There's there's tragedy. I don't know. There's some sort of drama. I forget what it's called. Tragic comes to mind when you think about the Jags. That's all I know.
Yeah, we've been tragic for the last 24 years or 22 years.
It's a tearjerker of a movie. All right. Well, I think that wraps it up for this episode. And anything you want to say before we jet out?
No, again, I think we overpaid for the wide receivers. I think we overpaid for everybody, but I still think we got better. Now, how much better? I don't know. Probably a game. I wouldn't count on too much from Captain Kirk.
Well, we get to watch as soon as the year starts and see that man make all those catches and earn that reputation Balky's just placed on him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, those 3 catches per game for like 45 yards and 1 first down. That's 18.5 million right there. But all right, so ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. We're out. Ball. That was to go to my half do that I did at the beginning. So there we go.
Balky.
Yeah. Sucks.